There is a brass bell hanging in the center of a concrete courtyard in Coronado, California. It is polished, simple, and innocuous. But to the men standing in formation on the asphalt, that bell is the most terrifying object on earth. It represents the exit. It represents the end of the pain. To ring it 3 times is to quit. To ring it is to admit that you are not one of them. To ring it is to join the 80% of candidates who fail to become United States Navy SEALs. The Naval Special Warfare Center is not a school in the traditional sense. It is a blast furnace. It does not teach you how to be tough, it reveals whether you are tough. The training pipeline is widely considered the most difficult military selection course in the world. It is designed to take a human body to the absolute physiological limit, hold it there for 6 months, and see if the mind breaks. In this tactical breakdown, we are going deep inside BUDS, Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL Training. We will deconstruct the 24 weeks of suffering that turns a sailor into a Tier 1 operator. We will analyze the hypothermic torture of surf passage, the physics of log PT, the hallucinations of Hell Week, and the lethal technicality of the dive phase. We are going to examine how the Navy spends millions of dollars to find the 1 man in 5 who refuses to ring the bell. The pipeline begins long before the water. It begins at the Naval Special Warfare Preparatory School in Great Lakes, Illinois. This is the filter before the filter. For 2 months, candidates are physically conditioned to survive the rigors of Coronado, but the real test starts when they arrive at the Naval Amphibious Base in California. This is Indoc, indoctrination. For weeks, the candidates are treated as raw material. They do not train, they suffer. The purpose of Indoc is to weed out the pretenders before the official clock starts. They learn the culture of the teams. They learn that their reputation means nothing. A college athlete stands next to a farm boy. A chess champion stands next to a mechanic. The ocean does not care about your resume. It only cares about your output. Then first phase begins. This is the conditioning phase, 7 weeks of relentless physical punishment. The instructors are not looking for fitness. They are looking for a specific psychological trait, the ability to function while uncomfortable. In SEAL training, there is a concept called the wet and sandy. If an instructor sees a candidate who looks dry, he will order him into the surf zone. The candidate must submerge fully in the 60-degree Pacific water, then roll in the sand until every inch of his body is coated in grit. This is called a sugar cookie. The sand acts like sandpaper. It chafes the skin raw in the armpits, the groin, and the neck. The candidate must then spend the rest of the day training in this condition. The pain is constant. The irritation is distracting. The lesson is simple. You will never be comfortable again. Get used to it. The centerpiece of first phase is the grinder, a large asphalt slab where candidates perform calisthenics for hours. Push-ups, flutter kicks, pull-ups, thousands of repetitions. But the true enemy in first phase is the inflatable boat. The IBS inflatable boat small. It weighs roughly 170 pounds deflated. With a motor and fuel, it is heavier. The boat crews, consisting of 6 to 7 men, must carry these boats on their heads everywhere they go. They run miles in soft sand with the boat bouncing on their skulls. This creates boat neck, a condition where the vertebrae are compressed and the muscles spasm from the constant load. The boat requires synchronization. If 1 man is shorter, he carries less weight. If 1 man is taller, he carries more. If 1 man slacks off, his teammates suffer. The instructors watch the boat cruise like hawks. They are looking for the man who is pretending to push. That man is cancer to the team. He is removed. Then comes log PT telephone poles cut into sections, weighing hundreds of pounds. The teams must press them overhead, hold them, and toss them. It looks like a workout. It is actually a leadership test. When the team is exhausted, when arms are trembling, who steps up, who calls out the count, who quits internally but keeps moving, the logs reveal character flaws that are invisible in a classroom. Midway through first phase comes the defining event of the entire pipeline, Hell Week. 5.5 days of continuous training. Total sleep allowance, roughly 4 hours. Not 4 hours a night, 4 hours for the entire week. Hell Week begins on Sunday evening with breakout. Chaos ensues, explosions, machine gun fire, smoke, and screaming. The class is driven into the surf. For the next 130 hours, they will be cold, wet, and miserable. They paddle boats through the surf zone at night. They run marathons in the sand. They lie in the freezing mud of the Tijuana sloughs, linking arms to share body heat, shivering uncontrollably. This is stage 1 hypothermia. It is allowed, even encouraged. The medical staff monitors their core temperatures. If a candidate drops too low, he is pulled out, warmed up, and thrown back in. By Wednesday, the hallucinations begin. The sleep deprivation causes the brain to misfire. Candidates report seeing trails of ants that aren't there. They see vending machines in the ocean. They see their parents standing on the dunes. They paddle their boats on the grass thinking they are in the water. The instructors do not stop them. They watch. They want to see if the candidate can maintain tactical awareness while his mind is fracturing. The attrition during Hell Week is catastrophic. This is when the bell rings the most. Men quit not because they are physically broken, but because they cannot process the timeline. They look at the sun rising on Tuesday and realize they have 4 more days. The mind collapses under the weight of the future. The ones who survive are the ones who live in the 3-foot world. They focus only on the next step, the next breath, the next meal. They dismantle the impossible task into manageable seconds. By Friday of Hell Week, the candidates are zombies. Their feet are swollen, their skin is peeling, they are walking on raw flesh, but they are still moving. When the instructors finally secure the class, the relief is not joyful, it is numb. They are given a pizza and a brown t-shirt. They have survived the hardest week of military training in the U.S. Armed Forces, but they are not SEALs yet. They have simply earned the right to go to the pool. The second phase is the dive phase. The screaming stops. The tone shifts from harassment to clinical professionalism. The enemy is no longer the cold, it is physics. The candidates must learn to be combat swimmers. They use open-circuit scuba, but the primary tool of the SEAL is the Drager LAR-V, the rebreather. Unlike civilian scuba gear, which releases bubbles, a rebreather is a closed-loop system. It scrubs carbon dioxide from the exhaled breath and recycles it. This allows the SEAL to swim underwater for hours without leaving a trace. It is the ultimate stealth tool. It is also a death trap. If the oxygen mixture is wrong, the diver can succumb to oxygen toxicity. This causes convulsions underwater. If you convulse with a mouthpiece in, you drown. There is no warning. You simply black out and die. The filter in second phase is pool competency. We have discussed this concept before, but the SEAL standard is surgical. The instructors attack the students underwater. They tie knots in the hoses. They turn off the air. The student must solve the problem while holding their breath. Panic is an immediate fail. In the ocean, a panicked diver is a liability. A panicked diver dies. They perform long-distance underwater swims. They navigate using a compass board in zero-visibility water. They learn hydrographic reconnaissance, mapping the beach for an amphibious assault. They learn to be comfortable in the dark, silent pressure of the deep. Those who cannot handle the claustrophobia of the water are washed out. The class shrinks further. The third phase is land warfare. The candidates move to San Clemente Island. This is the closest thing to actual combat they will experience. The focus shifts to weapons, demolitions, and small unit tactics. They learn to shoot the Sig Sauer pistol and the M4 carbine with expert precision. They learn to move as a team using shoot, move, and communicate drills. They handle high explosives, C4, detonation cord, blasting caps. They learn to calculate the standoff distance for a breaching charge. If you get the math wrong in the classroom, you get a failing grade. If you get the math wrong on the range, you kill your team. The attention to detail required is microscopic. A SEAL must be aggressive, but he cannot be reckless. The training days on the island are long, 20 hours a day. Planning missions, cleaning weapons, rehearsing patrols. They conduct raids on mock villages. They rappel from helicopters. They learn the art of the ambush. This phase is designed to test whether the candidate can apply the mental toughness of Hell Week to complex tactical problems. Can you remember the radio frequency when you have been awake for 40 hours? Can you shoot straight after marching 20 miles? Upon graduating BUDS, the candidate is still not a SEAL. He enters SQT SEAL Qualification Training. This lasts another 6 months. It is the Graduate School of Special Operations. SQT covers the skills that BUDS did not have time for: cold weather survival. The class travels to Kodiak, Alaska. They learn to survive in the Arctic. They navigate snow-covered mountains, sleep in snow caves, and break through the ice into freezing water to practice self-rescue. The cold here is lethal. It is a reminder that the environment is always the first enemy. They attend Army Airborne School to earn their jump wings. Then they go to military freefall school to learn HALO, high altitude low opening. Jumping from 30,000 feet with oxygen masks, plummeting through the stratosphere, and deploying the parachute at the last possible second to avoid radar detection. This is the primary insertion method for deep reconnaissance. They undergo SERE training: survival, evasion, resistance, and escape. They are taught how to survive if shot down behind enemy lines. They are subjected to mock interrogation. They learn the code of conduct. They learn to resist the psychological manipulation of a skilled captor. They learn advanced medical skills. Every SEAL is a combat lifesaver. They learn to start IVs in the dark. They learn to treat tension pneumothorax. They learn to keep a teammate alive long enough for the helicopter to arrive. Finally, after nearly a year and a half of training, the survivors gather for graduation. They have watched 80% of their original class ring the bell. They have seen men break their legs, blow out their eardrums, and freeze to the edge of death. They stand in their dress whites. And then an officer walks down the line and pins a device to their chest. The Special Warfare insignia, the Trident. It is an eagle clutching an anchor, a trident, and a flintlock pistol. The anchor represents the Navy. The trident represents the dominance of the sea. The pistol represents the land capability. The eagle represents the freedom they protect. It is the only warfare pin in the military that is gold by default. It is not a merit badge, it is a weight. The moment a man wears the trident, he accepts a standard that he must chase for the rest of his life. The motto of the SEALs is "The only easy day was yesterday." It means that the training was just the admission price. The real work is about to begin. A newly minted SEAL will report to a SEAL team, Team 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, or 10. He will be the new guy. He will carry the heavy weapons. He will make the coffee. He will be scrutinized by senior operators who have deployed to Iraq, Afghanistan, Somalia, and places that cannot be named. He will have to prove himself all over again. The cost of this pipeline is staggering. It costs the Navy roughly $2 million to produce one SEAL, but the value is absolute. These are the men who rescued Captain Phillips from Somali pirates with 3 simultaneous sniper shots on a moving boat. These are the men who flew into Abbottabad, Pakistan, to kill the most wanted terrorist in history. These are the men who swim into enemy harbors to attach mines to warships. They are the surgeons of warfare. Where the Marine Corps is a hammer, the SEALs are a scalpel. They operate in small numbers with high technology and higher violence of action. But beneath the night vision goggles and the body armor, they are still the same men who stood on the grinder in First Phase. They are the men who decided that ringing the bell was not an option. They are the men who learned to suffer in silence. The psychology of the SEAL is unique. It is an aggressive optimism, a belief that no matter how bad the situation is, pinned down, out of ammo, underwater, freezing, there is a way to win. It is a refusal to accept the reality of defeat. This mindset is forged in the surf of Coronado. It is burned into them during Hell Week, and it is polished in the high-pressure chambers of SQT. For the civilian looking in, it seems impossible, and for most, it is. But for the few who possess the specific cocktail of physical durability and mental stubbornness, it is a calling. They do not do it for the money. They do not do it for the fame. Most of their missions will never be declassified. They do it for the brotherhood. They do it to see if they are good enough to stand among the best. This has been a comprehensive audit of the Navy SEAL selection pipeline. We have walked the sands of Coronado, survived the pool attacks, and jumped from the stratosphere. If you want to see us break down the specific gear used by SEAL Team 6 or analyze the famous missions like Operation Red Wings, hit that subscribe button. We are going deeper into the archives. The training never stops, neither does the analysis.